Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another Spirit Hunters patch update. And by patch update, I mean patch release. That's right, the patch is live. Let's go. We are ready to go. So the content update is here. It has been 2 crazy months. The developers have been listening to feedback. Fantastic things. I'm going to try and go through this relatively quickly. There is a lot here. So the first thing we have is Hugo, the Treasure Genie. As he is a Treasure Genie, you can see that his synergies have to do with gold. Fantastic there. Gold is good time. He also has a new health system where he has 8 health instead of hundreds and hundreds of health, but every point of damage will do 1 damage to him. There's no 30 damage, there's no 60 damage. If he gets hit, it's 1 damage. He also leaves behind a tiny little beacon behind him. He goes invisible. He gains a boost in move speed. He has the ability to phase through enemies when he is in this state, and then he leaves a decoy, and that will attract things for the 5 seconds that he is phasing through things. So he has less health overall, in theory, to at least small hitting enemies, maybe more health to bosses, because as you can tell, the boss is doing 30, and Maxine only has, 110 health. Well, I'd rather have 8 hits than 4. There you go. Some other hero updates. We have Magnus. He is moving a little bit faster, teeny tiny bit faster, going from 135 to 140. Vivian actually is now moving faster than Magnus, going from 135 to 150. Hugo, I have a feeling this may be Conrad, goes from 80 to 95, because Conrad is the slow boy. Hugo's a flying genie. I hope he is not that slow, but again, I will find out very, very soon. Maxine, she is getting blazing fast, going from 180 to 200, and getting 15 more starting hit points, which is fantastic. And then on top of that, there's these challenge level stars on each character, and those will be used for future quests and achievements. So there are quests coming for characters, which is fantastic. Character-specific quests, very, very cool. For the player control, they're reducing the amount of sliding. Great, the sliding can get you in a lot of trouble. Having that reduced is just overall nice. The Divinity Web balancing, very, very nice indeed. There's a lot of changes to the costs, which are 30 to 90% cheaper. Kill gates are being reduced by a lot, and pretty much all mini-bosses are reduced to 1, which is fantastic. Power increases across the board, far higher damage numbers, so the power ramp feels better, which means most of the nodes, especially around power of skills, have been changed to some degree, and I will be doing a video going over the new full Divinity Web for this weekend, most likely. Rerolls, resources, and currency exchanges, amazing things here. Increased overall rewards, great. We want more rewards. More rewards means more upgrades means more fun. Done. Nice and easy. From the feedback, they never explained how everything worked, and they do right here. So all nodes, shops, chests, pet cages, and mining nodes, blah, 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 have a set number of things on the map. So there are 5 shops, 8 chests, 8 mining nodes, and 7 pet cages on the map at any time. At all times, I guess you could say. As soon as you use one, another is instantly spawned somewhere else. So there's no limit to the number that you can get. It is if you explore more, you will find more in theory, which is great to have. On top of that, as well, when you get more shops in the Divinity Web, it just adds 1 more to the pool. So instead of 5 shops on the map, there's now 6 shops on the map, which is great. I still hope to get more pet cages on the map. I want more pets. More pets, please. Most important here, they did do the flat reroll system. It is now 100 gold across the board. Love it, period. Enough said, moving on. Currency exchanges for the cores have been reduced by 70%. They're now 300 for 1 core and 30 crystals for 1 core, which is great. Definitely more cores easier, especially if the other things are cheaper. You will have these resources building up even more now, so that is fantastic. Glad to hear it. Now the important ability time. They have increased the damage of everything, which is fantastic. I am a fan of everything getting more damage. The abilities were doing similar damage, so they tried to stagger them a bit. It does appear as well, which is great, and it's closer to what they want in a future ability update. Yes, the next major content update, I believe, is the ability update. It will revamp abilities, and we're actually going to see a sneak peek of that below. So I'm very excited for that sneak peek. We compressed the max level of everything from 40 to 25, amazing, and removed some of the cooldown reduction levels and other less interesting things, which is fantastic, as we will see below. So Orbital Fire, major changes to Orbital Fire in the late game. At early game, it affects early game just as much, actually way more so. But the power of the Orbital Fire in the previous patch was that you could get its dot speed down to 0.5 seconds, or 0.05 seconds, I should say. And it does 20 dots a second. With Hoodoo, it does massive amounts of damage. But now there is no more dot over time increases, period. It's gone. It's now just 0.5 seconds, which is indeed about triple the speed of what it was before, or, you know, yeah, about that. At the start, 2 ticks per second is fine. It's fast and consistent. Great. But one key element of these ticks that they have done now is there's no more ones ticking away. It's the base damage of the weapon. So it does way more damage. So instead of doing 3s at max web, you'll now be doing up to 20s, you know, because your base damage went up to 20. That's great, you know, huge changes. I think overall it will do less damage, but with less requirements and putting points into it, it is a substantial upgrade. It just makes it much more fun, much more usable, and now your damage is affecting everything. Beautiful. Big Grand Hex has become absurdly strong. I love Grand Hex. It's one of my favorite abilities. I never think it's that great of an ability, but I just love it. I don't know why. It has a warm place in my heart, and it's going to do about 3 times the early game damage and 4 times the late game damage, which means I'm expecting this thing to see over 300 damage a hit, potentially crits of up to 1,000 damage. I mean, come on. How can you go wrong with that? But more importantly, cooldown reduction, AoE size, and crit levels have been reduced from 10 to 5. They are only 5 levels each. Beautiful, because they've been doubled. It's not just that they got reduced, but they've also been doubled in potency. Huge. Love it. And the stuns, it stuns those briefly caught in the area, but really the only thing that's going to be surviving are bosses and mini-bosses if it gets up to, 300 to 1,000 damage, which I'm okay with. Bone Shot, large overall damage boost, just like Grand Hex. 3 of the banners have been cut from 10 to 5, which would most likely be range, crit, and what's the third? Cooldown, of course. Oh my god, it's all about cooldown. My brain is already in overload right now. But they've been doubled. So again, it will be fantastic. Early game, it does far more damage. The damage falls off a bit in the late game because of it's a machine gun and stun. Again, beautiful. Love it. It's Bone Shot. It just makes it easier. Fantastic. Spears, cooldown is actually reduced to 7. It's not reduced to 5, with a 15% increase in each, so it's about the same cooldown overall, but with 3 less levels. But what's more important is the AoE slash size is reduced to 3 levels. That's right, each level is 120% more, and it's just so much more impactful. You don't need 10 levels. It will be a little bit smaller than it was before. We're at 360% total. That's 7 or 8 levels there, something along those lines. Not bad, but not exactly what the same. It's about 6.6. Yeah, 66%. So it's about 33% smaller. But it only needs 3 levels. Love it. So they did that as well. Damage has been reduced from 10 to 5 as well. So you're going to be gaining a lot more damage a lot faster. And another reason they reduced the size is because of the new projectiles that are coming. Yay, projectiles. They're gonna kill me. Yay. Arrow starts with more damage and a lower cooldown to improve the early run speed. However, the cooldown has been cut down to 5 levels, each being about 50% more, but the final attack speed has been reduced. So at max level, this will not be 0.2 speed, is what I'm gathering from this. Maybe it's 0.3, maybe it's 0.4. We're going to have to wait and see. I'm very curious. This may or may not be a breaking point for Heavy Arrow for me overall, but we will have to wait and see. Magic Mine redesign, very, very impactful. Basically, the mines will no longer grow that are on the ground. They will stay very small mines because You could just essentially make a giant mine, stand in it, and anything that walks into you would explode the mine. Now, the mines will always be smaller than the character, so you can't just hide in a mine, in essence. But the explosions will be bigger and more deadly. So that is beautiful. The other more important change to me to mines is the fact that you can now have 30 on the screen at a time. Having 6 before, I would constantly get to the point where I had too many because things would just slightly avoid it for some reason or another, but being able to have 30, beautiful. Love it. Now we get to the big boy, Cleve. The biggest balance problem is what they call it. No surprise there. I mean, it's the Cleve. It's the only ability in the game that didn't have a clear identity, so it didn't work well with other abilities. I mean, I think it worked well with every ability because it just did all everything. But but Cleve now has higher damage. It's a multi-slash close-range melee attack. It has early power to make it feel a lot better as a starter ability. So I'm curious how much damage this does and multi-hit. I mean, it sounds like it's still going to be very powerful, just very close range, which just means you pick up the experience. So I'm okay with that. I don't think this change is a bad thing. I think the AoE being cut down is just fine. I'm quite okay with that. Tornado, it got a minor damage boost. It did need a boost, and a large boost to cooldown reduction. I don't know what a large boost to cooldown reduction is, because realistically, at max, it was already too powerful in terms of, having tornadoes just constantly on the screen, so we'll have to wait and see. But the main thing they want to point out is it goes from 10 to 3 knockback, and each level is boosted by 350, so you still get the same amount of knockback, if not, a tiny, tiny bit more. So that's good. It's far better, much faster. Again, getting these weapons to where they want them to be much faster. That's what's important. They also updated so it will target a random enemy rather than picking a random direction. Huge as well. I love that fact. That, I think, is the most important aspect. They also said when it comes out, they're a little bit more spread apart, but then they come closer together. So it's more of a wall later on than a wall right on you. Curious how that will happen when you have 12 of them or 14 of them, but we'll have to wait and see. If you can still get that many. I don't know. They don't really go over the quantity portion. Tangle vines. Vines have been updated so they always start close together but overlap less when it's larger. So that's fantastic. When it's larger, they were overlapping quite a bit. So if they overlap less, that is fantastic. The overall damage area is more reliable and useful. I mean, I felt it was very reliable and useful as it was, but hey, I can understand that. And they sped up the damage over time speed and gave it a massive damage boost. I mean, I already saw what these vines were doing with Maxine with some dot speed increases, so that's incredible. And if Maxine stacks with that, oh my god, it's going to be ridiculous, especially with a quote-unquote massive damage boost. The Shuriken, the OG boss killer, the one that you can use right off the bat, they found it was confusing because it had number and cooldown reduction banners. Very much so. I completely agree. It used to have a 3-second gap between volleys, and then you could reduce it with cooldown reduction levels, but they just got rid of cooldown reduction levels, and the gap is now 0.5 seconds. Period. Done. No more cooldown reduction at all for it. Love it. And they feel they might have given it potentially too much of a damage boost. So, shurikens might be way, way, way overpowered right now. They don't even say what they do in terms of damage boost. It's just, we think this might be powerful. So that's always good to see. It most likely will get minor patched out. But hey, I'm looking forward to that. Ice Ring. Ice Ring is here. It's a heavily defensive ability. It freezes enemies in place. I'm actually going to read this one out because it is a new ability. Frozen enemies can't hurt you. They can't hurt you and can be pushed out of the way of the player. Look at that. They can't hurt you. It's by far the lowest damage ability in the game. Completely understandable. Completely defensive ability. So you will need to build other sources of damage into your build. Not all the enemies are freezable. Nearly every monster in the desert maps can be frozen, but certain enemies like ghosts and spirits are immune. So Ice Ring can be less effective in dark forest zones, unlike other abilities. Ice Ring maxes at level 13. It's a level 13 ability. That is what I was talking about of how I was using Vines before. It's a defensive ability. It doesn't need the same amount of levels. I want it to feel powerful with as little investment as possible, which is great. And this is what they're using as an opportunity to work on the status effect system that gets implemented to support frozen enemies. I'm assuming there will be most likely a poison effect, potentially a burn effect, a lot of different dots that can be set. I mean, we already technically have a poison and a burn. So I guess statuses, maybe there's a confuse. They have a stun already, which is a status. So, I mean, who knows what status is. Confuse would be kind of cool, where you could turn enemies against each other. I wouldn't mind that. Add that to Grand Hex. It explodes. Maybe it does no damage if you get this thing and it confuses everything. Oh, that'd be great. But hey, well, speculation aside, damage numbers. We can now see at the end of a run how much damage each ability did. Fantastic. Pets. There we go. Pet balancing. The Nomicron, it does a truckload more damage. So it's nice. The problem is it doing more damage really wasn't the problem for me because it's just on level. It does a boost. If it was a screen wide damage and a truck, like basically if it was a screen wipe, I could see that. But just an explosion right around you that does a bit more damage, not that exciting to me personally. The 20 damage was usually enough to basically kill anything around you anyway, other than maybe some larger enemies. So it's nice, but hey. Beacon, they got the time to make it more clear, so you can now see when he is decoying. There's also a grace period for getting into Beacon's beacon range. I don't know what that means, what the grace period means, so we'll see. Maybe it means he starts beaconing and you have to get in a certain range for it to activate. I don't really know. But it makes it easier to see, and you can tell when things are going on. Hoodoo, he gets a minor power boost to slightly improve orbital fire. Again, Hoodoo, already very powerful with dots. Vines and mines will always be good. A minor power boost, awesome. Ice Ring is a dot, so this is our 4th dot damage. Yay, dots. So Hoodoo would make Ice Ring too strong, but that's not bad. I'm happy with that. They also say it's already strong as it is, and for the next hero, it's going to get crazy. So I'm expecting the next hero to have a lot of dot-based things, and I'm very, very excited for that. I love the dot effects. So hugely looking forward to the next character, yes. We now have the Mag Slime. He's just getting a reduction. That's it. That's all they say. They don't say how much. It's just more balanced, lowering it down, done. By poor Mag Slime, it's still going to be very strong, just not as strong. Hardy, they used to love Hardy. I still love Hardy, but they felt that the percent chance was too random, which I completely understand. Now it's 30 seconds at level 1, we'll guarantee a heart. 20 seconds at level 2, we'll guarantee a heart. 10 seconds at level 3, we'll guarantee a heart. And having a heart every 10 seconds is huge. I mean, a heart every 10 seconds on a character like Conrad, for instance, where he gets, 30 health a heart? 36 health a heart? I mean, that's immense! That's almost 200 health a minute! That is so much healing. So, ridiculous. I love you, Hardy. You're great for survival, but when you don't need to survive, you're terrible. Scoop, they just gave Scoop a little buff. It's their favorite pet. And I fully support that, so he digs more often. Good for Scoop. Monster time. Big changes to the monsters. We now have hitboxes. It was a major issue in the game. They have done hitbox accuracy pass on every single one of their monsters. All the small monsters are way easier to dodge and avoid, which is fantastic. They have enemy tuning. So there are epic power boosts to all the enemies. So they added they rebalanced a lot of the monsters' health. Low-level swarming monsters haven't changed, so they will still be dying very, very easily. But the stronger monsters have a lot more HP and a ton more HP to mini bosses and end bosses. And that also means Moon Mummy got his regular buff as well. Fantastic there. They added 30 new monsters and mini bosses to the game with 4 new end bosses. Yes, you've seen screenshots of a lot of them. They are coming with the new maps and things like that. So it is very fantastic. The Bestiary is on track as well. So they are working on a Bestiary, and that will be down below. We will see that. Enemy behavior, we've added loads of new enemy attacks. There's projectiles, ground attacks, damage ores. They are here. If I did talk about them in my other video. So now the Butler Sandworm threw his teacups. Cactfernado. Cactferno, yes, is literally on fire. Just run from him. It's no longer worth it. And there's lots of new monsters, unique behaviors, and other things. And they did updates on some older ones as well, which is fantastic. Boss ring update. This is immense for the longevity of the run. The Ring of Death, I believe it still kills you in one hit, but it no longer shrinks. It does not shrink any longer. Amazing. Love it. But, as they said, scared, the beetle boss is pretty upset, so in the end, so they gave all end bosses a huge health boost, which was stated up above. And Moon Mummy is the best monster in the game, from Moon Mummy. There you go. That's what we needed to know. Thank you, Moon Mummy, for your input. We do have new zones. We have 2 new maps, and there we go. Highlands, Dark Forest, just like I was speculating. The Viper Village. We have snakes in there. And we have the cemetery in the Dark Forest. So that is fantastic. And they also go on to say that now abilities have more early damage. They will go through and update the zones in the game and added 30 to 90% more monsters in each and did more balancing tuning to the waves. So more monsters in them means more experience, means more levels. So even though things are going to come down, we're actually going to level high. Oh, it's going to be beautiful. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm just looking forward to it overall entirely. Soundtrack update. They got some more sounds in the game, which is great. They did some audio balancing as well. They got, there we go. Just better sounds. I was very poor at expressing that. I apologize. I'm trying to do this relatively quickly. It is beautiful. Multiple slave slots. There we go. I am super looking forward to this. I will be having a hardcore mode. I will have my full web mode, and we will see how things go. Very much looking for that. Hardcore mode, here we go. Hardcore mode, this is the first iteration of our new mode. Basically, it increases the amount that you start with. You start with 100 crystals and 500 runes extra. And then, if you die, you are done. It deletes your save and gives you a score. Period. That is hardcore mode. Looking for that right there. There's new achievements for unlocking everything. All the new content. The Hugo, the Village and Village Hard, the Cemetery, Cemetery Hard, and the hardcore mode itself. So those are just some Steam achievements that you can get relatively easy right there. And now we have the what's next. And I don't want to save that picture for the bottom. We will get there. So we have shop indicators. So this is in the upcoming patches, whether it is a minor patch or a major patch. Shop indicators may be minor, but maybe it stays for the major. The huge ability update, that's going to be the major one. So as we can see, shop indicators, edge of screen indicators that point to points of interest. Amazing. Want to know where those pet cages are? Want to know where those chests are? Want to know where their shops are? Let's get it going. The Bestiary. Bestiary. This is, a bestiary. It's going to show you where the monsters are. This is what you want. Probably have how many you killed or something along those lines. It'll be great. It helps you find the things that you need for the Divinity Web. Pet rerolls, the ability to re-roll pets for a cost. Yes, 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 please, please, please. I want that more than any of the others, honestly. Localization, which is also fantastic. Getting the text localized for a more global audience. It's just fantastic for the game and the community itself. And then last, the huge ability update. And here are some concepts that they have right here. Look at this. So this is Orbital Fire. One upgrade gives you multiple balls of fire. Another upgrade shoots balls out of the mouths of dragons that your balls of fire turn into. Now these do have downsides, sides. So you can see the first one reduces size by 30%. The second one actually doesn't have a downside, so good for that. Then vines. You get chompies. They will attack things on the vines. Fantastic. And then the other one, you split in a V pattern, which is also great, but they are 25% smaller. So again, the downside there. Arrow, this is the one that looks beautiful to me for 2 to 3 reasons. First, you can add a dot to it. Great. Love it. Second, you can reduce your attack speed a little bit. but you get to shoot in other directions, which is nice. It does help. Arrows very specific. What's more important there? What is this little masked villain, man, hero, what have you? Oh, look at that. I think that's our dot hero coming. Ooh, baby, I'm very much looking forward to that. That is what I want to see. I want to see the dot hero. Oh, Hoodoo's big brother, Hoodoo's father, who knows? We shall see. Maybe we'll make up the lore on our own. But there we go. This is the patch that they did. This is the patch that they have. This is everything. Uh, they are going to keep working on it. It's going to be fantastic. There's so much potential to this game. So I do plan on enjoying this update. So thank you very much to the developers and all of the official testers and everybody that's providing support to Creature Cauldron. Again, join their Discord. It does help out a lot. This is everything in the patch. I will have a video soon regarding it. I am planning on doing a run with the new one, Hugo, very soon, and then I will be starting a hardcore run as well as going over the full Divinity Web and things for this weekend. So thank you very much. Have a wonderful day. I hope this breakdown helped, and we will be going into more detail in later videos. So take care. Have a wonderful day. Please like, comment, leave your comments. I want to know what you think. I would love to know what you're thinking about this patch. Subscribe, of course. I love it. You love it. Hey, there we go. It's a beautiful thing. And have a wonderful day. Happy hunting.